Welcome everyone to our Tuesday night Rock Your Health product health informational webinar. We are happy to have you on tonight and to also have our guest speaker, Dr. Joshua Dunksy. So Dr. Dunksy is a practicing chiropractic physician. He has a thriving practice. Sorry about that. He has a thriving chiropractic practice in Boston, Mass, and works with all kinds of different degenerative spine diseases, scoliosis, and also neuropathy, and also has a gut program helping to heal the body from the gut and intestinal level, which is so important. And so tonight, instead of doing our normal all the way down breakthrough of each product, we just want to kind of break things down into some individual more information about each individual sort of ingredient, because there's some some urban legends out there about some things that we want to sort of myth bust tonight. So Dr. Dunksy, thank you for being on. Appreciate you taking your time to be with us, and I'm just going to let you take over.
Excellent. Thank you so much, JoJo, and thank you for everybody for being on here and allowing me to continue to present this important science that we have and tools that we have to help each and every one of us and all of our friends and loved ones to get healthier. And as JoJo said, we're going to bullet tonight's presentation. I do need to start out and just give you the scope of the situation and what's going on right now. There's something called TITOs, which we've been about over the past 3 months now, lecturing on this pretty heavily so people understand what's going on. TITO stands for toxicity, deficiency, overweight or obesity, and stress. And this is what is causing our decline in our health today across the board. We have the best medicine, the best doctors, the best research, but we're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. We spend the most amount of money on healthcare, and we're one of the sickest countries in the world. 1 in 2 children today have some type of chronic illness. Our obesity is off the chart. Okay, we are the number 2 most obese country in the world. With the technology and the research that we have today, something's wrong. We are smart people, but we're getting bigger and bigger and sicker and sicker. Back in the 50s, cancer was 1 in 12 over the age of 55. Now it's 1 in 2. And the most disturbing, at least for me, and I probably will say that most of you also, is this number down here. We have 23 million children that are obese right now. Okay, 80% of Americans are overweight, and being overweight is a significant health factor, but it's not the only one. Okay, and this is what experts predict, that 42% of us will be obese by 2030, and 100 million of us will have diabetes by 2050. So something's going on, and it's not good. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Okay, I saw this study about a month ago, and it really woke me up, because we know it's out there, but I didn't know how prevalent it was in our younger population. They autopsied 742 children, adolescents, between the ages of 15 and 19, they died of accidents. Okay, and they biopsied their livers, because the only way you can see if someone has a fatty liver is by a biopsy. Of course, you can take measurements in blood and cholesterol and trans fats and all these other things to increase risk factors, but to see the liver itself, okay, they found that 17% of these kids had fatty livers at age 15, 16, 17 years old. How is that possible? That means 17 out of every 100 kids has a fatty liver. Do you know how you get a fatty liver? It's not from living healthy. It's from what we're putting in our body most of the time. This is what's going on. Our kids are eating more and more junk. Some of it we know, and some of it is the hidden devil we don't know, or many people don't know. And so when we get to show this information, when we get to share this with parents and kids and just anybody who will listen, you know, you can't run from the information anymore. Once it's out, it's out. And then you got to either do something about it or you can ignore it. But you can't claim ignorance once you understand what's going on. We are eating so much more now than we did 20 years ago. more specifically teen boys, but it's across the board. Women, men, everybody is eating more. But why? Why are we eating more? I want to pose this to you, that maybe addiction has something to do with this. We are addicted to our food. There is no question about it. There's excitatory chemicals that go into our food that's made.
Hey Josh, I think we lost your volume. Can you hear me? Can you guys tell me if you can hear me or if you can hear Josh?
I'm good. Jojo.
Okay, there you go.
Can you hear okay? Because I had to unplug my mic.
Yeah, no, we lost you for a second, so, but you're back now.
Is this clear this way?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you get this slide at all, or should I go back?
You should go back.
Okay. Did you get this slide?
Yeah, we got that one.
Okay. All right. So there's no question we're eating more. I want to talk to you about addiction. Addiction is real. Addiction happens from the chemicals, the excitatory chemicals they put in our food to this McDonald's French fry tastes really good, that this donut, this cookie, this wheat bread tastes really good. By the way, it's really not good for you most of the time. Most of the wheat bread, there's deception in marketing. Most of the wheat bread you can see on the shelves, they mask it with saying it's natural stone ground whole wheat, but they don't tell you they're still using that refined garbage, that flour, that sugar, those chemicals that are killing us. And it's not, oh, these people are way overprotective, overcautious. No, these are known chemicals to cause health problems that they're still allowed to put in our food supply. But addiction is real, just right for the cocaine addict, the crack addict, the heroin addict, people who use hallucinogenic drugs. It changes what our brains tell us is reality. Okay, so our food is poisonous. We know this. It's not, there's no mystery here. Metabolic syndrome is on the rise like it's never been before. So we're eating more of the wrong stuff. Our food is nutrient deficient, okay? Those of you that have seen the other presentations we do, I get into the deficiencies in the soil and the deficiencies in the food. But metabolic disease is one of the reasons why we are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So in 1982, the government kind of stepped in. They said, okay, we knew this way back when. We're all getting sicker because we're getting bigger, we're getting fatter, we're getting more, diabetes is on the rise, obesity. So the American Heart Association, the American Medical Association, the U.S. Department of Agriculture said, we need to remove some of the fat from the food because we're all getting sick from this fat. And then fat-free entamines came out, and all these fat-free programs came out thinking we're going to get healthier and healthier and healthier by removing the fat, right? Wrong. Because when they did this, metabolic disease didn't just level out. It just didn't just increase a little bit. It went through the roof. People got sicker and bigger when they took the fat out of the food because they were replacing it with chemicals. They were replacing it with known synthetic chemicals that make us sicker. And they create more obesogens. Obesogens are fat cells that create more fat cells. And the problem is, it was never the fat. The fat was never the issue. What was the issue? The sugar. The sugar's always been the issue. And we want to talk tonight about sugar because we still hear people and experts talking about sugar like it's the devil, talking about sugar like it's poison. There is good sugar and there is bad sugar. Your brain runs on sugar. It runs on good sugar. Your body runs on good sugar. I want to talk to you about bad sugar. And this is what is all around us 24/7 in everything that we see pretty much with very few exceptions. And the problem is when they remove the fat out of the food, the fat out of the food, these problems got worse. The fat was going down, the sugar's going up, and every one of us, including our kids, are getting sicker and sicker. And metabolic disease especially on the rise. So let's dive into this a little bit. you know, I feel really bad for these parents. Most parents want to do the right thing. They want to do the right thing. They don't know what the right thing is, but they see these beautiful ads on TV, use our fruit juice, natural fruit juice, no sugar added type of thing. And again, it's the marketing that really does the trick. Most of these fruit drinks, even the ones that you think are healthy, are worse than most sodas, okay? And when I say fructose on here, understand there's naturally occurring fructose in its natural form, like from pears, beets, berries, sugar cane, sugar beets, those types of things. And then there's refined table sugar, okay? And what I want you to understand before I show you this next slide is that using this formula right here, if you consume 3,500 more calories than you burn, you're going to gain a pound of fat. So what that means, you don't need to take out your calculators, but I'll just tell you what that means. 1 can of soda a day, okay? If you consume 1 can of soda a day, you're gonna create 15.5 pounds of fat per year. So 1 can of soda a day, you're gonna create 15.5 pounds of fat per year. And let me tell you, it's not the good fat. There's good subcutaneous fat that's on our handlebars, a little bit around our waist. You know, some of that subcutaneous fat has been proven to be good for us and helps level out our hormone levels. I'm talking about the bad fat, the visceral fat. Visceral fat, for those of you that don't know the term, there's nothing good about it. Visceral fat is the fat that kills us. Visceral fat surrounds our organs, our liver, our kidneys, our heart, and squeezes those organs, okay, to the point where they stop functioning properly. They slow down. You know, people don't die the next day from this. People die over time. They get sicker. Imagine putting a bunch of elastics, very, very strong elastics around your heart, and your heart has to pump against that stress of those elastics over time. And there's more and more elastics being laid down over the heart, more and more elastics. It's harder and harder for your heart to pump. That's called congestive heart failure. That's called strokes, coronary artery disease. It's called liver failure, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, lipids, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's called all of those things. Visceral fat is bad. And that's what this garbage sugar turns into. So Coca-Cola conspiracy, because this isn't just Coke, this is soda across the board. And I use this analogy because everybody can relate to it. Back in 1915, this is what the bottle of Coke looked like. It was 6.5 ounces. If you drank one of those a year, you're going to gain 8 pounds of fat. I'm sorry, if you drink one of those a day, you're going to build 8 pounds of fat or develop 8 pounds of fat per year. In 1955, it went to the 10 ounce. You drank one of those a day, you gained 13 pounds of fat per year. In 1960, it went to the can. In 1988, look at this Thirst Buster, this disgusting drink that came out at every movie theater, and it supersize this, supersize that. You know, oh, for 30 cents more, we'll give you a supersize. You know, who's going to turn that down, right? Especially the kids that see more pleasure in that. You drink one of those a day, you're going to gain 57 pounds of bad fat per year. And then this is the kicker. And I'll tell you why this is the kicker in 1982, this 20-ouncer. If you drink one of these a day, you're going to gain 26 pounds of bad fat per year. Now, I know, and many of you know, people, children and adults, who don't just consume one of these a day. They consume 2 a day. Do you know why they do it? Because they're tired, they're thirsty, they want more energy, and they like the taste. And so when you combine all of those targets, you get a drink that people want over and over and over again. So here's the conspiracy. What's the first thing? Now, I'm going to show you chemicals, but these aren't the only chemicals in Coke. Okay? These are just the main ones. Caffeine is one of the main ingredients in Coke. What is caffeine? Well, caffeine is a stimulant because everybody's exhausted these days. All right? They need to stay awake. They have 17 jobs and kids and responsibilities, and it's difficult, right? Caffeine is also a diuretic. So you pee free water, you become dehydrated. Great. So I need something to keep me up, and on the back end, indirectly, I'm going to get dehydrated from it. The second major thing that they put inside Coke or soda is salt, specifically 55 milligrams. Okay, that's a lot. And third, you guessed it, is the sugar. They put the sugar in here because you'd never drink this stuff the way it tasted without it, because of all the chemicals that are in it. The sugar is to hide the salt. much like they do in most food, even breads. Check out the labels. You would be surprised. Ketchup, mustard, sugar is everywhere, and this isn't the good sugar. This isn't the good sugar. Back in our anthropological days, we walked around with bare feet and we grabbed the fruits from the trees and the vegetables from the ground. We were getting good, organic, non-refined sugar in its whole form. And our bodies liked it. It could process it properly, right? That's not what we're getting here. And in 1985, Coca-Cola made a huge, huge business decision here that earned them hundreds of billions of dollars. They came out with new Coke, a beautiful new can, new design, right? They marketed it as a new Coke, right? People didn't even know what that was, but they wanted it because it's new. And guess what was inside that was so damaging? More salt and actually more sugar too, right? So more people were getting hooked and more people were becoming dehydrated and sick from this poison, okay? We know this stuff is poison. It was a great decision for them, bad for your kids, bad for you, bad for me, bad for all of us. They're not looking out for us. And you trump that, you basically, you put that in the same pot as this right here. Our food, we can prove, is nutritionally bankrupt. So now we're getting chemicals, deadly chemicals, harmful chemicals, a ton of bad sugar, and now we have foods that are bankrupt. We need 54 bowls of spinach today to get 1 week's supply of iron. That was a study done by UCLA that started in 1952. We need 8 oranges today to get the same nutrients as an orange back in 1936, right? This is what we're looking like. It is getting worse and worse when you see an 8-year-old that's pre-diabetic, a 9-year-old with diabetes, a 14-year-old with type 2. Horrible, right? So what do we do? What do we do? First is we don't diet. Diets are inherently formulated to fail, and that's exactly what they do. According to the National Institute of Health, take any diet out there and you have a 98% failure rate. Boom. I don't care diet, 98% failure rate. That's because they're focusing on calorie counting and calorie restriction. That's the biggest joke that we've heard yet today. Your body does not know how to count calories. You can count calories in a lab. Your body can't count calories. Your body knows 2 things. It knows the difference between an empty calorie, which it can't use, and it stores it as a toxin or as waste, or a nutrient-dense calorie that'll perform a function, create fuel for your body to live on. That's it, okay? Diets target calories. That's it. And meanwhile, our kids are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we know diets don't work. That's what we don't do. So we do this, and this is what I use in my office. This is what's mandatory in my neuropathy program, my spinal degenerative program, and my gut program. You have to be on this nutrition for me to bring you into my program now. And I didn't always have that conviction. But after looking at sustainable results, sustainable outcomes, and measuring the people that took our advice and got on the program over a 2-year period, and the people that didn't, it was statistically significant to the point where I had to tell people they had to do this. Otherwise, what's the point? You can go to the best chiropractor, the best physician, the best massage therapist, the best physical therapist, the best nutritionist. If you're doing great work with them, but you're not putting the fundamental fuel, the nutrition that's supposed to be infused in your body every day into those cells, it's like driving around in a car with a hole in your gas tank. You're going to get so far, that engine's going to stop running. Better yet, a hole in your oil tank where the engine will seize up. Better yet, an engine where you have an oil filter or air filter that's never been cleaned. So this is what we do in our clinic, and this is what we do in our program. Many of you are doing this on this webinar tonight. Many of you are learning about this program, okay? But I'm going to talk to you now. We focused a little bit on the sugar. And again, let me be very clear. You can take a sugar cane or a sugar beet and eat it all day long in the raw. Go grab a sugar cane from the side of the road, gnaw on that sucker all day long. Your body's going to like that sugar because it's going into your body in the right ratios with the fiber, the protein. That's how your body was created to absorb and tear down and break apart and use all of those elements properly to become healthy with. We've refined foods. It's for our own ease. It's to make money. It's to get food to people quicker. It's all of those things. It's to ship food overseas. It's so it lasts, it doesn't go bad. But when they refine foods, let's talk about sugar. When they refine sugar, they rip the fiber shell out of there. Now you're getting part of what we need in an uneven ratio. Your body doesn't know what to do with that, okay? And now you put in bad sugar into that equation too. That creates a lot of damage to the body, okay? So this is what we're doing in our program, all right? We're getting rid of the sugary liquids. We have to clean out the gut, because that phrase, you are what you eat, is not true. And I want to tell everybody, it is not true. You are what you absorb. I have plenty of patients that sit on the other side of the desk from me. They're eating organic, they're exercising, and they're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. Why is that? Well, if I'm eating broccoli and cauliflower and kale, why am I still getting sicker? Because if you don't have the right type of cells, the microvilli, the little fingers that pull the nutrition out of the cells, that pull the nutrition out of the food's going to go right through you and you're going to absorb very little. Or if you have leaky gut syndrome and you're leaking proteins into the blood and your immune system's all over the place and your hydrochloric acid levels are off, the point is, your body has to be able to pull the nutrients out of the food for you to get healthy. So we want to remove the garbage and infuse, remove the garbage, allow for healing, and infuse the good stuff. We are not talking about processing. We're not talking about dieting or deprivation. We're talking about infusing the body with massive amounts of nutrients every single day. Diets don't do that. Diets deprive you. And when you deprive the body and you eliminate the essential nutrients, we need 70 trace minerals every day for proper function, your body's going to increase cortisol levels, which increases fat cells, which increases fat production, okay? And eliminates the chances of all those horrible, harmful impurities to be rid of the body. That's why diets don't work. This is our program. This is a nutritional fasting program. And don't let the word fast fool you. We are infusing your body every single day with the nutrition. Now, we touched on sugar, the good sugar versus the bad sugar. The sugar in this program is the good sugar. It's naturally occurring fructose from pears, beets, and berries, okay? And it's lightly processed. And when I say processed, there are heavy techniques and they put foods through and ingredients through to break apart their nutrition. This does it very gently so we can extract that naturally occurring fructose and get it to us. We actually see a lot with diabetics. It actually is shown to level out their glucose levels. This is the program I have our diabetic patients on. You can't do that with most programs out there because they're not getting that type of sugar. There's a big difference. This is the meal replacement portion of our program. Again, I'm not going to go through the whole, tonight's purpose is not to go through the whole cleanse, the whole nutritional fasting program. It's just highlight a couple things. But the sugar in here is the good sugar, number one, okay? Number two, the whey. Undenatured whey protein. Undenatured whey protein is what makes up this shake, is what is so valuable. It's like gold. It's undenatured, meaning when you go to the store, 99% of the protein you get from the States is a denatured whey protein. It's cooked at high temperatures. They use acids and salts to destroy the molecular bonds, okay, the peptide bonds, that denature, they devalue the nutrition you're getting from that whey. And it becomes more of a toxin, more of a poison, and poorly absorbed into the body. Undenatured whey means they use a process called cold press extraction. This comes from New Zealand cows, okay, that eat actual grass. They're not being fed garbage. And you better believe that whatever the animal or the plant is fed, you're eating too. We can measure that. You can aspirate a cell and you can find the antibiotics, the steroids, the garbage that went into the cows, not these cows. That's why we use New Zealand cows. This is a grade level 7 protein. The majority of the protein in the States is a grade level 2, okay? Cat and dog food is a grade level 1. So this undenatured whey protein is highly anabolic by the body. It means it builds lean muscle. It wants to become lean muscle. Very important. When you go into the gym and you exercise, you're killing cells. That's what you do. You kill cells. And then at night, your body will scoop up all the nutrition that you put back in your body and develop new cells. Well, if the body's scooping up all the nutrition that it can and it's not getting very much, you're going to create inferior cells. And this is how we become sicker or less optimal or inferior. But the protein is, I want to highlight this gentleman right here, Dr. Michael Koch. This gentleman, if there's one person in the world, there's many, many authorities on protein. If there's one leading expert in the world of aging and brain degeneration and protein, it is Dr. Michael Koch. Okay? He is just, you can get his books, you can YouTube him, you can look him up. This guy is absolutely incredible. And to be able to work with him in this company, it's just, you know, every time we open another door, we're just more and more impressed with the level that these people go to provide the best nutrition on the planet. They interviewed, or there was one particular interview when Dr. Colgan talked about protein, okay? And he said this, it's very, very profound. If you eat garbage proteins, quite simply, you will grow a garbage body, regardless of how hard you train. If you eat garbage proteins, you will grow a pro-inflammatory body, no matter how the rest of your diet is. So each day that you eat any protein, they build into the structure of your body. And now you have to live with them for up to the next, for up to the next 6 months with those garbage proteins. And you can't get to your ultimate performance. You can't live the way you want to live at that high performing ability if you're an athlete, or age youthfully if you're growing these toxic proteins. Garbage, your body doesn't know what to do with it. It stores it as garbage if you're consuming garbage proteins. That's the difference. The world's most perfect food is mother's breast milk. It's made up of 60% whey protein, 40% milk protein. And so this company goes to New Zealand for the finest protein in the world, that undenatured whey protein. Very, very important. It's also infused with all the essential amino acids. It's infused with probiotics and prebiotics, digestive enzymes. It's absolutely incredible. It is the most nutrient-dense superfood on the planet. All of my kids drink it. We can't control what they get at school. The 8-year-olds get at school, and my 17-year-old, but we know they're getting a shake. They're getting their nutrition. Another big kicker in this is some of those essential amino acids we talked about in this whey. Okay, glycine, cysteine, and glutamic acid, they synergize, I'm sorry, not synergize, excuse me, I apologize, synthesize glutathione. Glutathione is the mother of all antioxidants, one of the most important things in your immune system. Okay, to help your immune system function properly, you destroy deadly impurities in your body, harmful impurities in your body, let me say. Glutathione is known as a toxin hunter. Glutathione dismantles deadly toxins, harmful impurities, breaks them down so your liver and your kidney can excrete them properly. Okay, that's what it does. Along with the cleanse has polysaccharides in it, the ionics very important, but this isoline shake is also essential for breaking apart those harmful impurities and ridding them out of the body naturally. Just by starving yourself or going on a diet restricted program, you're going to lose fat cells, but then rebound's going to happen. Linda is going to look great for 3 or 4 months. 7 months later, she's going to be bigger than she was before because they never went after the harmful impurities that keep creating more obesogens, fat cells, and storing these deadly toxins. Prebiotics are in there too. No one talks about prebiotics. Probiotics are very important. Prebiotics are paramount. Prebiotics allows your body to produce its own flora and own probiotics. So yes, we put probiotics in the body, but we want to feed it the fuel to start that fire, to put the logs in the oven, or the logs in the fire to create its own fire. And this is what happens. This is where we see people going from, yeah, they're getting healthier. When they get on these prebiotics, wow, huge difference in outcomes. There are studies that we have published, the UIC study, just huge. You know, they compare the heart healthy diet, people eating healthy, versus people on the isogenics 30-day, and they had 2 times the increase, 2 times the decrease in visceral fat. Now you're telling me that if I can decrease my visceral fat by 2 times with a program, okay, healthy, I'd be crazy not to look at it. And this is why we have so many healthcare practitioners on this program, is because we have peer-reviewed research that proves this work. Here are published MRIs before and after the cleanse, the 30-day nutritional fasting system. This is an MRI of the abdomen. You'll see here white. This white is all visceral fat. And you look over here, much, much less visceral fat. Okay? The Koch Institute, they studied triathletes, men and women under 10% body fat, okay? And they found after they went through the program, and they did this purposely because most athletes, when you say cleanser or fast, they run the other way. They don't want to have anything to do with it because they equate muscle wasting and bone loss to fats, to cleanses and fasts. That's not what happens here. They actually gain an average of 2.8, almost 3% more lean muscle. More lean muscle. You're telling me I can go on a nutritional fasting program and build muscle? That's exactly what I'm telling you. That is why this is something like never before. The science is there. We do post-outcomes assessments. You see these people 6 months, 12 months, 18 months on maintenance, and they're still building muscle. They're burning fat, bad fat. They're still releasing toxins. So what I want you to take away from this is, number one, we're not processing. We are enhancing the very food that Mother Nature gave us. It's just been destroyed over time. We're literally giving back the food that was there 100 million years ago. And so I'll leave you with this. The definition of food is not just fats, carbs, and proteins and all that stuff. The purpose of food is to carry genetic information to our genes, to keep, it's like a software programmer that keeps telling the computer what to do. Well, if someone's changing our genetic information and changing the input, our bodies are going to work different. Our codes are going to be different. Our body's going to grow different. What do you think a genetic defect is? Or genetic mutation in genes and cells? Okay, that's a lot of, has a lot to do with cancers and neoplasms come from too. The cell is changing, the genes are changing. And in 2012, we had released to us, to the United States public, a 44,000-page document under the Freedom of Information Act that said the government was basically lying to us for all this time about genetic food, genetically modified food. No one should be eating it. They came out and told us this, that they made a mistake. And guess what? You can still buy genetic GMO food today. And I'll tell you, you need to run away from processed sugar. You need to run away from GMO foods. And you need to look at something that's going to clean out the insides and replenish with really, really the essentials of what Mother Nature intended us to have. So this is where I'm going to pause here. And if you have any questions, I think JoJo is probably going to take some of those. JoJo, you there?
I am. Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Awesome. That was great, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It was really good. I love breaking it down into the little individual pieces like that and really understanding.
I love it. I thought that was good.
Vinny's giving you a thumbs up.
Thank you, Vinny.
Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to add in? Thumbs up for Dr. Joss. I think that was great. I'm glad I got that recorded. It was really good.
Awesome.
So I'll be able to definitely share that information. So do you guys have anything you'd like to say? If not, we're at time, so we're going to call it. Let's see. Okay, wait a second. Kelly says, she has a question. She says she understands how the sugar works, but she was wondering if you have more protein and less carbs, does that help lower blood sugar?
Does it help lower blood sugar? Well, we can't make any claims on that it helps lower blood sugar. But what we see is that this program can help level that out. It allows the body to do what it's supposed to do. And so we see that, but it's not a definite that's going to happen. It's the whole system together that helps normalize the body and bring the body to homeostasis. And when we're doing this with diabetics, that's what we see happen. So without saying that it definitely does, although you could probably have some molecular biologists on here that will tell you some more or deeper information regarding that. We know this program helps with blood sugar problems. Say it again?
From the nutritional side, if there's no question that if you're putting in less carbs and you're putting in more protein, carbs, depending on what kind of carbs they are, the carbs are going to turn into sugar. So if we're looking at starchy carbs, French fries, potato chips, things that are going to have a huge sugar dump, and you remove that and put in something that's going to be protein, automatically, just because of that difference, it's going to make a difference.
Absolutely.
So, that's just basic nutrition. And so, yes, absolutely, that is what we see happen. But, we also want to see, if we're looking at, dealing with extra glucose in the system, that sometimes cellular cleansing can help get that to where it needs to be. And so sometimes we see people go through that, and as their body balances, then that's also one of the pieces of the puzzle that balances out. So.
Absolutely. I apologize. I was thinking of adding more, she was saying adding more protein when you're still consuming these carbohydrates, but certainly, like you said, Jojo, that's, anytime you reduce the carbs, just like you said, that's going to happen. And that's why the system is so beautiful, because you're getting the right ratio of the good carbs, the good sugars, the good proteins, the good fats. And when you do that, it's giving back the body what it needs. And so we see that level out all the time.
Right.
My bad. I apologize. I misunderstood the question.
No worries. Kelly, does that answer your question? Good. Awesome. All right, guys. Any other questions tonight? That was a great question, Kelly. It's, that's definitely something that we answer a lot.
I feel bad for Tito because he doesn't get the respect.
Any other questions, you guys? If not, we're going to call it a wrap. All right. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it. And I'm so glad we got this recorded. Thank you guys for being on tonight. And I will get it posted on the Rock Your Health page for sure. And, feel free to share it, especially because this is such good information people need to know. So appreciate you guys being on. Thanks so much. Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks, Jojo. Awesome.